Hi guys, I think I ran into some technical difficulties, but I am here. Thank you all for waiting. Sorry about that. I'm here. My name's Brianne Evans. I'm going to be talking about my culminating exhibition Specimen today. And yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties, but I love you all. Thank you for being here. Okay, I'm going to pull up a slideshow for you guys. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm new to this streaming thing. Okay. All right, so this is my show Specimen, and I'm going to be talking about all these pieces in a chronological order, meaning that they're installed in such a way that each piece is a direct response to the pieces behind it. So I'm going to start at the back wall and move my way towards the camera. So for my first series, it's called Pinned, and for this series I knew I wanted to use female forms, and I had to put black widows inside of them. And I think that this need to put black widows inside of these forms was definitely a result of my newfound love for entomology. But also a nod to my favorite artist, Louise Bourgeois. She used arachnid symbolism in her work all the time. And to her, the spider represented female sexuality, motherhood, and like fierceness, a fierceness about females. So with all of these things in mind, I wanted to include these spiders in these female forms, and I was really trying to encompass different body types and different ages, so that I could basically put out this message of body positivity and self-acceptance amongst women. And after I finished the series and sat with them for a while, I kind of started to realize that these were a lot more morbid than I had first anticipated. And I mean, even down to the spiders inside of them, the way that you archive insects or arachnids in entomology is called pinning. And you basically take the insect and you use a bunch of little tiny pins to position their legs just right. You can adjust their abdomens, but you're basically trying to make everything symmetrical and into this ideal form that's aesthetically pleasing. And so this idea of putting an ideal form into a form that I'm arguing has no ideal form really caused a disconnect for me. And it kind of made me realize that the piece was a lot more personal than I had first intended. I was at a point in my life where I was struggling with my education, my health, among other things, and I really felt stuck and like I wasn't being heard. And it appears that my hands manifested these things into objects that also were not being heard and were stuck. They literally don't have heads and cannot voice their opinions, and they don't have legs, so they are stuck. And so I knew I had to move away from this series for a while into this transitional space. And that really allowed me to start working on my next series, which is called Hemimetabolous. In this series, I use hemimetabolous insects, which basically means that they start their life cycle from one physical form and will transition into another physical form when they reach maturity, like a caterpillar and a butterfly, or a larva and a dragonfly. And I knew for this series, I wanted these insects to be in skulls because I wanted it to not represent the death of a physical form, but the death of a way of thinking, so that you can transition mentally from a negative or unempowered way of thinking into a positive, fully realized state of mind. This is a picture of the dragonfly skull. It's hard to make out, but there's a wing in the middle of the skull there, and the body going out to the left. The texture of the resin made it very hard to photograph. These two skulls are sat on columns of dirt, And I knew I wanted to include dirt in my show for its obvious relation to insects, but also because it's such a wonderful source of life. We can grow food from dirt, we grow plants from dirt. The biggest organism in the world is a tree and would definitely not be where it was without dirt. And so with all of these ideas of growth and emergence and life in mind, I was able to start on my next piece, which is called Breach. And so this piece, I really wanted it to represent emergence and growth, again, coming out of being held under. And this piece is the most personal to me by far. It's literally made from a mold of my own body. And I chose to make this piece in resin as well because, again, I wanted it to represent my being and my soul, not necessarily my physical form. And I decided to cover this piece in insects, again, because of my love of entomology. But I really wanted it to feel really full of life and radiate that energy and just show peace with the world and calmness and wholeness. As for the insects on the sculpture, they're both real organic insects and also bronze cast insects. Again, real insects, my love of entomology, and the cast insects as a nod to my love of casting them. Casting them is just as much fun as collecting and learning about these things. The nice thing about turning these bugs into metal is it really offers a rare opportunity to get up close and personal with these bugs and really take in their beauty. You know, you can handle them, you're not worried about breaking a wing off, and it just really allows you to connect with them on a really intimate scale. So I have some pictures of the bronze bugs. This is a Hercules beetle. It's bronze, it's resting on my hand. The moth and the praying mantis on the left side are both cast bronze. And on the right side, the biggest reddish butterfly and the smaller purple one closer to the top of the head, those are both bronze as well. And I really wanted to touch on this bronze spider that's in my abdominal area too. It is obviously a connection to the female forms that I first touched on. And it's really just an acknowledgement of where I came from and a way to say that I really don't think I would have been able to emerge up from the ashes or from the dirt if I didn't realize where I was as I was hanging in the form of these female forms. So that recognition really allowed me to breach the surface and continue to become this unabridged female that I really feel like I was meant to be. So that is my talk. I'd love to open it up to questions. You guys can comment your questions. I will be able to see them as soon as I exit out of this. And while you guys ask your questions, if you guys wanted to leave your name or anything so I know who I'm talking to, I'd like to give thanks while you guys do that. I'm going to move over here because I'm blinded. Big thanks to my committee, Lauren Ruth and Sherry Simons. They have always pushed me to become a better artist and a better individual. I cannot thank you guys enough. David Barta, you're incredible. I've never met anyone like you. If you ever have a question about anything, the guy knows 100 answers for you. Thank you so much. Sam helped me so much with my pieces. Sam Goad, thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. All my other professors at Chico State, you guys know who you are. My hearts go out to you. Thank you so much. You guys have made me a much better artist. And a little apology to all my friends and family. I am so sorry that I have been totally ignoring you and abusing you, but I love you guys. I hope you know that, and your support means the world to me. And let's see, I have some questions that I'm going to start answering. Thank you guys. Okay, so Misty asks, the fragility of the initial forms, how do they factor in with the use of such strong materials as resin and bronze? So I think what you're asking is, how do I get these things in bronze if they're so fragile to begin with? I think that's the answer, or the question you're looking for. But what I do is I'll take the insects, and when I cast them, I basically paint a layer of wax on the wings so that I can thicken them up a little bit, because bronze really wouldn't be able to fill the form of a wing. But I really enjoy casting them in bronze because of this like uninterrupted idea of being able to like zoom in on these things and not worry about them flying away or breaking them or crawling away. Nicole asks, how did you take the cast of your body for the third piece? So this was definitely my most challenging mold making experience. This is where Sam came into play. He helped me a lot, but we basically took plaster bandages like you make a cast out of when you break your arm, and we just started laying them on my body. And it was a 5-part mold, actually. The front of my torso was a mold. The back of my torso was a mold. My head, I had a front mold. The back, I had a back mold. And my hand was another mold. So those were all made out of plaster and lots of release agents. It was definitely a learning experience, and every step took about 5 times longer than I thought it would. But it came together. It literally came together. So I was happy about that. Let's see. Okay, Asa asks, I described the piece as conveying peace with the world, oneness, and wholeness. Okay, in the Monsters Guy, I'm the Monsters Guy, but this recalls classic images of zombies breaking out of the grave. Can you reconcile the positive with the echoes of horror? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely get some morbid feels and macabre things in here. And it is supposed to be a little dark. It's supposed to be, like this ray of hope in the ashes. And I feel like part of me was really dead when I began this work, and realizing that allowed me to really open up and feel more alive and be okay with everything. So the zombie factor is, I don't want to say zombie, but the resurrection is definitely an important aspect of the work to me. Okay, let's see. The weight of my body mold, Shannon asks. So the plaster mold that I made everything out of was much, much heavier than this guy. Or this girl. She is probably only about 10 or 15 pounds. She's really, really light. But all of that plaster that I made her from was probably closer to 20, 25 pounds, I want to say. I don't know. I didn't weigh anything, but she's very light, very easy to move around. She's hollow. I layered resin in with fiberglass on the form, so it allowed me to use a lot less material. and kept it nice and lightweight. Aida, my grandma, she asks, how did you create the hair? So the hair is actually fiberglass strands. So it came in this big spool, and I pulled some out and cut it, pulled it out and cut it, and I actually had to just stick every piece on individually. And I stuck it on with resin. Resin is a good binding agent. And yeah, then I gave her a little haircut, and yeah, the resin, the fiberglass strand was my, I thought it was a great solution to hair because I was really worried about sculpting hair and seeing how it was going to interact with the shoulders, and it probably would have been another long process of the mold making aspect of things. So the free-flowing hair was my best option. And I always loved my hair free-flowing, so I think it represented me very well too. And David asked, hollow or solid? The female form is hollow, as I mentioned. The skulls are solid, fully with resin and the insects, and then the female forms behind me with the spiders inside of them, those are solid resin. Let's see. My brother asks, what is your favorite insect in the collection and why? I really like that Hercules beetle that is in bronze that was on my hand because it was really the first jaw-dropping moment for me when I was casting these insects. I got all the legs, I got these beautiful feathered antennae, and it was just a beautiful cast, and I was floored, and I was already addicted to casting these insects initially, but after that I was like, wow, the sky is the limit. I can totally cast any insect I want. And he's pretty cute. I like the Hercules beetle. And I would say the bronze spider in my navel area is definitely also one of my favorites, just because I was able to get the legs that are so skinny. Legs are so hard to cast, but it was a beautiful, beautiful cast, and I got them, and it was a shock to me, really. So Hercules beetle and the spider. Let's see. Would my show have been any different if it was an in-person event? I really think that I would have installed it the same. I know a lot of people I've spoken to that have had the opportunity to see it in person are afraid to walk on the dirt, but I totally encourage people to walk on the dirt and get a closer look. And I think I would have to think of some kind of a way to encourage people to walk on the dirt more. So I probably would have had a little bit more of an encouraging element on the inside. A lot of the people I see that are looking at it from the outside, and I have to tell them, you can go in, you can go check it out. But I think it would have ended up like this. Very similar, aside from the element of please come inside and get dirty. Who's going to clean up the dirt? That is my job, and I am so looking forward to it. Is there any significance to the coloration to the insects? James, I'm assuming you are asking about the bronze insects. I definitely try and mimic the original coloration of the insects as best I can, because I am trying to trick the eye into thinking it is a real insect. But as a whole, the insects on the body, in terms of color, I was definitely trying to keep the most colorful in my head, just to kind of lift the figure a little more. But yeah, I think that's it for coloration of the bugs. Let's see, I'm making sure I'm not missing anyone. Let's see, question from Sherry. If your dirt is alive and resin is frozen, can you talk about your decision to make the breach piece in resin, seeing that I see her as a manifestation of life going forward? I made her in resin because I really wanted it to signify the moment that I felt that I had risen above my challenges. It's definitely a snapshot in time, and an ode to that moment where I kind of just woke up and let go of things and stopped pouting around. But yeah, I wanted it to represent that moment and the will and the action of coming out of the dirt and then assumingly go out into the world and be a woman. Let's see. Sabrina asks, what was your intention with the placement of the insects on specific body parts? Well, I knew I wanted all the butterflies to be on the head, again, relating to the coloration and kind of that elevating aspect of the sculpture. And I guess for the rest of the body, I was really trying to put insects where I wanted the eye to go. So there's very subtle insects on the arm and things, but I didn't want it's kind of like a treat when you it's like a carrot. When you get down and you look, you keep seeing more insects in places that you maybe wouldn't expect them to be. So it's really just an incentive to really analyze the whole sculpture and take it in, and be rewarded with other little insects that you might have missed. And then guessing if they're bronze or real. Let's see. Gabriella asks, do you have plans for a continuation of this series in the future, or should we expect something new from you? I do really like the work with resin. This idea of working with dirt was also really, really exciting for me. Those pedestals are just made out of water and the dirt that's on the ground in here. And I slowly added mud into them, and I was packing them down. And I really thought that they would crumble at some point in the show, but they're doing great, which is lovely news to me. So I'm going to continue working with dirt, and I really do think that I will continue to work on this resin sculpture of myself for a long time. I don't know that I'll ever really be able to complete it the way that I want to. But I'll definitely be trying to enter these pieces in shows and working on them some more. And I think that seeing all of the pieces installed together and how they react with each other and communicate with each other really helped me realize what the message was. And I think I will do more work with it. Insects, bronze, resin. That's my thing right now. I'll keep doing work with it. Let's see. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Let's see. I don't think I missed any questions. Here's one. Matt asked, if you plan on continuing to work on the resin cast of your body, will you ever add a lower half? I have really been considering adding a lower half. I would love to see legs on it. And yeah, I think that's definitely the next step. I love it how it is. And I guess the question for me is, do I make another mold of myself or of someone else and add legs to that and keep this as it is? Or is the next progression of this series her above ground with her legs and going out into the world? And yeah, I've definitely been considering doing the lower half of her. So we'll see where that takes me. Let's see. Lauren asked, can we describe the gesture of the female form in relationship to the dirt? Is she sitting upright? Is she pushing herself out? Is she climbing to the surface? What's her relationship to the dirt? So I really wanted her to have movement to her and upward force, and I really do see her as climbing out of the dirt like she's been buried and is I'm not going to say zombie, but she is being resurrected and is using that dirt to push herself out, really climbing out of the dirt. Let's see. Oh, thanks, you guys. It's so nice seeing your little names pop up. Zombie, I said it. It's so nice seeing your names pop up. It means the world to me. You guys are awesome. Oh, I wish I could thank each one of you guys, give you a big hug, but I cannot. I'm so sorry. But any more questions I can answer, you guys? Oh my gosh, zombies! Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you. My cheeks hurt from smiling right now. Oh, well, I'm gonna keep it up just for a little while in case anybody pops in and asks another question. I'll probably keep it this open for another 5 minutes or so. Again, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning. Sam ran down and told me I wasn't doing it right, so he saved me again on that one. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. These comments are killing me. Okay, G asked me, how long did this project take you? So the first series on the back wall I finished in 2020. And this year I've really been focused on the figure in the middle, the sculpture of my own body. And I have probably been working, I got a very late start on making that piece. I believe I started, I would say like late January, maybe early February. And I was working on it probably like 8 to 10 hours a day, every single day. It takes a long time because it's resin, so it takes a long time to cure. And it, like I said, it just took 5 times longer than I ever imagined it would. But that, I can't really do the math in my head right now how long that took me, but that was definitely, I think, the most time-consuming piece, and really was like the sprint for me at the end. I mean, it came down to like the day of my show and getting everything installed, because the resin it takes a while to cure. So it came together. It came together. But in total, this series I've probably been working on for, I want to say maybe like 7-8 months total for all of this. I kind of started working with resin when the pandemic started, and I had to work from home. And I couldn't cast bronze anymore from my bedroom, so I got resin and figured I could put my mold making skills to use with a different material. So really at the beginning of the pandemic, I started working on this stuff. Where did I go hunting for bugs? Jolie, my sister, asks. Really everywhere. My friends in Chico know that if I see a bug anywhere, I will try and catch it. We could be at the Bear eating food. I could be up at work in Cohasset. I could be walking along the sidewalk and find like a dead bee on the ground, and I'm always looking for bugs. I always have some kind of little container to put them in, and I actually had a nice brigade of students helping me look for bugs too. There was a long period of time where a lot of people were just leaving little dead bugs in my locker. So thank you all who were involved in that. You guys are awesome. I've gotten some of my favorite bugs from other people. But yeah, I go to Bidwell a lot and go like bug hunting when I actually intend to catch them, and I'll go run around with my butterfly net and look like an idiot out there, but just totally have a blast doing it. Let's see. Oh, thank you guys. G, do you have plans for an in-person showcase in the future? I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I don't want to say things are going to be normal again soon, because then I'd have to knock on wood. But I would absolutely love to have an in-person show and a reception, and I'd like to do it up here, and I'd like to do it back home, so all my friends and family from back home can see it. Yeah, a reception would be great. I miss all of your faces. I want to see you guys, and I'd love to serve you food. Some drinks would be lovely. But yeah, I stay tuned for an in-person reception. Yes, me with the butterfly net is real life SpongeBob jellyfishing. Thank you for noticing. Well, if there's any more questions, feel free to comment right now. If not, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. The love and encouragement from you all really got me through this, and my cheeks are really hurting from smiling this much. So I think I need to take a break for a little while. But thank you. I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cannot thank you enough. I hope you guys are all in good health and better spirits. And hopefully I get to talk to you guys all soon, see you guys all soon. Will I walk around again? Katie asked, will I walk around? I don't know what you mean by that, Katie. Can you clarify? I missed the first few minutes. I did a little slideshow with pictures on it. I'm pretty sure once I end this, you will be able to restart the video and watch it again. So if you do want to see some pictures, you're more than welcome. I can't really move this laptop though, but there are some better up close pictures in the slideshow. And my grandpa asks, what was your most challenging project? Definitely her in the middle. It's very poetic, really. I was my most challenging project. Just because the amount of time that it took, lots of hiccups, and I was kind of embarking on this new endeavor for myself. And making a mold of your upper half is very, very difficult. I needed an extra set of hands the entire time. I needed expert advice the entire time. And it was really a group effort getting that thing done. And there were just so many hiccups along the way, so many hiccups. But I'm glad it's in one piece, finally. Okay, I think that might be it, guys. Again, if you missed anything, you can totally go back and rewatch the recording of this once I end it. Again, thank you so much. I love you all. I love you all. And if you are watching this later and do have questions or anything, you can still comment on the video. I'll do my best to answer them. But I need to give my cheeks a break from smiling right now. So thank you guys. I love you so much. It really means the world to me. Bye.